Hello, my name is Michelle Ng and I am the president and founder of Vancouver Foodie Tours. The four different products or food tours that we offer, starting with the most popular one would be Granville Island Market Tour, and then the second most popular would be the Gastronomic Gastown Tour, followed by the Guilty Pleasures Gourmet Tour, which will actually be rebranded as the Best of Downtown Tour starting 2018. And last but not least, our Canadian Signature Experience Tour that is the world's best food truck tour, and that's a really great way of experiencing some of the gourmet street food that the city has to offer. So the reason why I started my company was really out of passion for food and people. I've actually worked in the IT industry for 10 years prior to starting Vancouver Foodie Tours, and I just realized that my love for food and people far exceeds my love for IT. I love that food and people really brings people together in the most wonderful way, and really creates simple pleasures that I personally just love that part of my life so much, and I want to be able to share that with other people. I've had quite a few different roles prior to starting Vancouver Foodie Tours, and I've really learned so much from each of those experiences. So my educational background was actually business and marketing from UBC, University of British Columbia, and when I graduated from UBC, one of my first jobs was door-to-door sales, and so I sold ADSL lines. And for those of you who were too young to know what ADSL lines were, they are internet connections in the old days, and so that was one of two products I sold, and also phone lines. So I would, knock on 100 doors each day, and the goal was to get 3 yeses from the 100 doors that I would knock. So it was a really great training ground for a young person, learning to keep my attitude up, making that great first impression before the person slams the door in my face, and work ethics, because every day was typically from 7 to 6 or 7. Lots of physical exercises, walking from door to door, and then from there I moved on to starting my own computer hardware business. It was at the time one of the first e-commerce business, small business in Canada, and so I would build custom computers for gamers, techies, specific to the type of motherboard they want, the RAM, the video card. I would build it and then ship it across Canada, and grew the company about 10 times over the course of the 3 years that I've been operating it. But it was a very cutthroat business, very price sensitive, and I came to realize that my strengths was really in relationship building. It was the human side of the business, and so I exited that company and went on to work for an IT consulting firm in Vancouver. So leveraging the technical skill sets that I have acquired in my previous role, and managing the business side as their general manager. And I learned a lot about working in a male-dominated industry as a young woman, and learned how to create a great culture in a company, and a lot about IT in that process. And over time, I realized that really my passion was in food and people. And so one day while I was working in the IT consulting company, an email came across my inbox, and it was a call for volunteers to host walks in our city to engage locals. And so I gave him a call and I said, hey, I see a lot of historical tours, a lot of architectural, cultural tours on your itinerary, but I don't see a foodie tour or a foodie walk. And so I said, would you be interested in me creating a foodie tour for you? And they said, sure, go ahead and do that. If you put something together, we'd be happy to post it on our website. And that's really how I hosted my first foodie tour. I had about 20 people show up on the tour. They had such a great time, never been on a foodie tour, and I myself really enjoyed the experience too. And I thought, wow, I could really do more of this. And so it never started as a business idea. It was born out of a passion for food and people, and really wanting to engage with my local community. And in that same summer, I was pregnant with my son, and so I hosted foodie tours through that summer, and then the doctor ordered bed rest, so I took a break during the winter season, had my son Lucas in March, took two months off, and I was back out in the streets again in May, because that was the peak season for Vancouver when it comes to tours. And so each of those experiences really helped me become a better business owner, better leader, a better marketer for Vancouver Foodie Tours today. So, all of my failures, all of the mistakes that I've made, I've really learned so much from them, and I'm really somebody that learns my biggest lessons when I fall the hardest, when I have my biggest mistakes, and those were really the best training grounds for me. And so it includes everything from when I first started the company. I don't know how it never occurred to me, but I didn't think to sell or promote my tours to visitors. I was focused on locals because it was a very, me-centric kind of way of thinking. That the reason why I started foodie tours was because of my passion for food and people, and it was my desire to better engage with my community. So I was thinking about locals and wanting other locals to engage with their community through food, and tasting some of the best dishes at each restaurant, and hearing the stories behind each of the restaurants. So for me, I was just coming from my own perspective and focusing on locals, yet the greatest opportunity for a tour company is in visitors. And so it took, really getting to know the business model of food tour operators who have done it before me, who are successful, and learning how they do it. And so it's really asking that who question, who can help me be better, and help me avoid some of the mistakes that they had to go through. So, learning to focus on visitors was a great lesson for me, and in general, understanding what works and what doesn't work from successful food tour operators once I was aware of their existence was a huge learning opportunity, and getting feedback from guests on the food experiences. I remember one of my first tours, the route it started at the bottom of the hill and it went up the hill, and that was, something that was basic, that maybe I should have known, but it took some constructive feedback from guests before I realized that we needed to make a switch in that. So, and every time we get feedback from our customers, that's how we were able to improve. And feedback from tours in Vancouver really helped shape our business as it is today, because I really believe that we all, to some extent operate inside our own little bubble, and for other people to come and to provide that feedback has been so invaluable for me along my entire journey, and I know that it will continue to be so important as we grow. So there are a number of ways or a number of things that I feel really differentiates us from other food tour or tourism businesses, and these are things that we hold really dear and try to impress on our team every single day. One of them is finding a better way. I really try to inspire our team members not to believe that just the way we're doing something today needs to be how we're doing it tomorrow. And what we're doing today is just the best that we've been able to come up with so far. But there's always a better way, and it's in everybody's power and responsibility to always be on the lookout for finding a better way, whether it be operations, tour experience. So that's definitely key. Inspiring our team to have a high standard for themselves in the work they do. And in turn keep the rest of our team and the company accountable to holding up that high standard has been a big part of what we do as well. We are Vancouver Foodie Tours. We consider ourselves ambassadors of our city, of Canada, of everybody that we touch, and so that includes all of our restaurant partners. It includes the communities in which we operate. We really try to speak in the best light possible and showcase our city and the businesses, whether we work with them on the tour or not, to showcase them in the best light possible. And we want to be a positive company that really leaves people and the things that we touch, leave them in a better place than how we found them, and that really permeates throughout the company. Whether they operate as one of our partners or not, it might be somebody that we just meet on the streets, but in whatever small way we can, we really want to leave them in a better place. And that leads us to the final thing that I feel really differentiates us as a company in general, is just our overall desire to do good, to always err on the side of positive, and making a difference in whatever way that looks like. Doing good is something that is the overarching theme of our company. I love spending time with my 6-year-old son, as well as my husband, and discovering the city and life as we know it. I love exploring the meaning of life as it relates to different people, and that will look differently with everybody. And that will be something very different with Lucas, my 6-year-old son, versus my husband, versus the friends that come into our home. I love, having these deep, meaningful conversations with people in general, whether they are friends or even strangers, and that's something that I love doing even on tours, and when I travel, understanding what it is that's important to everybody's life beneath the surface is what I really enjoy, and with that, it's also understanding everybody's struggles, and everybody has a struggle that we don't know about, and it's going beneath the surface and understanding people as the true human beings that they are, and I'm really fascinated by that. And in addition, for myself, I love self-reflection. And by talking to other people and understanding their point of view, I have a better understanding of myself, and I love exploring the limitations of myself, what I believe are my own limitations, and what might be possible outside of those limitations. So I love doing things like that. I love cooking and entertaining. I just love the feeling when, whether it be my family or friends that come over for a meal, I cook up a meal for them, and I just love to see their faces are enjoying the food. How satisfying it is. And oftentimes friends that come to my house will leave so full, and that's so funny to me too, that just somehow it happens every time, and they tell me it's because they really enjoy the food, and they haven't had that feeling, that warm feeling, in a long time, and that really warms my heart, and it's something that I enjoy a lot. Our world is in a unique place today, and I think increasingly Canada is really a wonderful place to visit. It's a beautiful country. There's lots of beautiful nature, parks, ocean, mountains to explore. And what I love most about Canada, and something that I'm reminded every time I return home from a trip, is how tolerant and friendly Canadians are, and we're truly thrilled to welcome visitors to our country, and I hope that you will visit our country soon and experience that for yourself. Canada is a great place for people to visit if you love the beautiful scenery, majestic mountains, the waters in the park, but also for the food and very friendly people that we have here. And I hope that you'll decide to visit Vancouver and Canada, and when you do, please look us up at Vancouver Foodie Tours for some of the amazing foodie tour experiences we have to offer, so that we can take you around and let you eat your way through the city of Vancouver.